of Sand by Geetanjali Shree. Translated by Daisy Rockwell. Part 2. Sunlight. Chapter 8. And she begins to make music. That is, Ma begins to with her breathing. Long, long inhale, exhale, deepening, and other vibrations join in. Ah, ah, aha, aha, ha, ha. Mouth stretching wide with yawning. Ooh, yama, oh, ma. Swaying side to side. Sang, lifting the cane, spilling the sunlight and air over the wall. Wee, finger in air, itching hard. She is digging inside and outside her body and expressing with music. A sigh for every position. Arms raised. Oh, leg out. Ayah. Bell ringing. Oh, oh. If someone visits, whoosh. Eating roti. Kut. Nonsense words abound. Breathing ascends and descends in scales. Body, breath, voice. A world of new possibilities. That is exactly what a child does. It nibbles and kisses its body and experiments in all sorts of ways with its voice. This could be training for getting ahead in the world, or it could be echoes from a previous existence. Renounce some, adopt some, create others anew. Mothers laugh and get annoyed. A child's beloved prattle. Betty showers Ma with affection. What's with this gibberish you're speaking? I'm going to record it. To play for all your kids. When you're alone, or mostly alone, eating, drinking, waking, even sleeping. Saying ah, ooh, as you turn over. Deep satisfied grunts. When you eat, chup, chup, chup. Lips smacking together. When you drink, it's slurp. When you stretch, sound even come from the bathroom. Ah, ah, oh, oh, hurt. Betty laughs. But she doesn't laugh at night. She starts out of her slumber. Amma flings her arms and legs all about the bed, as though rehearsing to repeat for the morrow, practicing to step out into the world. Every attitude, every pose. Let me try and see. Anne snores. Whoa. Among these new sounds, Ma sometimes throws in recognizable words. Ooh, okay. That part. No fry plaster. Ow. But they still don't make any sense. It's like she's making sounds just for the sake of it. She's got a new instrument and she's playing it. That's it. She's learning to play. Betty doesn't understand this newly forming grammar, but she realizes that these are all sounds of peace. Whoever said sounds have to be noisy? Chapter 9. Sounds of Peace. The scritch scritch of the broom on the street, the newspaper man's sandals running, the smack of the newspaper dropping, the outside door as it opens, a shaft of sunlight jumping in, a speck of grime flying with it, the rustling of paper as headlines are read, the riffling of pages, branches brushing their leaves against the window, one leaf sighing, floating down to earth, the meow meow of peacock in the thicket across the street. One can hear the fanning of their feathers, their feet circling in dance. The sisterhood of Ma and the sunshine, their whisperings, their quiet voices. The fine stream of water lapping the inside of the cup as it's poured from the kettle. The sunshiny tea emerging from the see-through kettle is a sweet silence. All the same, Ma adds 2 spoonfuls of honey. If you watch the champa flowers fall you will hear the sound they make. A maid rattles a bucket in another flat. Someone pounds fresh spices. The sweet scent sinks. Someone grinds cardamom in a mortar. The heart is gladdened. Ma takes a long sip as though drinking in a bird's song. A bird chirps in response outside. The society gardener's trowel speaks in the earth. Scrape, scrape. Chapter 10. I'm not becoming a man, am I? I have a beard, look. One hair, laughs Betty. Look, I have one in the same place. Yes, hair grows out of this place on my chin. Look, just one. It will keep getting longer. Ma wants to pull hers out. Give me the scissors. No, no, Betty get nervous. I'll pull it out with tweezers. Amazing, I have a single hair in the very same place. We both have beards. Ma, like this, with the foibles of her body, as though examining it for the first time. Or is this love, the way it is with love, the first time every time? A love so full it envelops from all sides, through and through, all around, inside and out, as though her body is a coat she used to wear right side out, but now wears inside out, the ribbed lining now on the outside. The mildew will disappear with an airing. It looks upside down side ripped, torn, tangled, flowing. Blue veins, cysts, blisters, wounds, patches. She seeks them out, caresses them, examines them, displays them. Chapter 11. Betty is having fun. Amma has begun to walk on her own. She circumambulates the house all aglow. What is this? A Hussein print. Was he looking for his mother? He never knew his mother. So he poured his imagination of her into his paintings. Wow, the wonder of art. And this? These are animals painted by the people of Bastar, where they live. Bird, beast, human, tear, all are one, all protected, all respected, united. Wow. The breathing of Beti within the now returning breathing of Ma. The color of Beti within the joyous color of Ma. Have you read all these books? Yes. Take some down for me. I'll start to read them. Right now my eyes turn red if I try to read. They water. Where were you that you got so weak? The question bubbles up inside Betty, unspoken. The heart melts. Please lie down. Don't do everything all at once. Rest a bit in between. Chapter 12. The phone rang. It was KK. Betty quickly switched it to silent. What with Ma being a child that can't be woken? She'll talk to him later. He must have returned from Dar es Salaam. She had forgotten, but even if she had remembered, she couldn't allow him to come over yet. Certainly not to sleep. Amma is occupying the bed. For a few days, other relationships were to be postponed. And besides, she didn't feel like seeing him. Betty knew, though perhaps only subconsciously, that a mother and a girlfriend cannot exist in the same body. Chapter 13. Ma eats paratha and sag. Betty has arranged for the maid next door to cook for the two of them. She can't feed Ma her own usual. Vegetables and grains all mixed up together. Khichdi style. What KK calls foda. Chapter 14. Betty enjoys introducing Ma to new experiences. Watch it. It's an English film. Very good. You'll understand everything. The pronunciation will get easier as you listen. It's about Nazi Germany, based on a true story. Mother and daughter watch films together. They laugh awkwardly at the Western kissing. Chi, chi, Ma says in a completely un-chi-chi tone. How can they mix their spit like that? They giggle like innocent girls. Is the redness on her cheeks from the sunlight without or the heat within? Chapter 15. She has told KK, let things settle first. Ma isn't well yet. Come later. She couldn't say, not even to herself, that just as two swords cannot rest in the same sheath, mother and lover cannot inhabit the same skin, or sleep in the same bed either. Ma sleeps sprawled across the bed. She falls asleep the moment she lies down. As she sleeps, she reaches out and feels that Betty is there. Isn't she? Yes, she is. Head, hand, knee. Ma sticks to her. She sleeps better that way. Betty, on the other hand, remains awake. But who cares? Ma is sleeping peacefully, and this brings Betty comfort. By morning, Betty is practically off the bed. Amma stretched out across it. Betty sets her alarm, but turns it off, since she is already awake before it rings. But there are other bells over which she has no control these days, neither the phone nor the door. No one used to ring the bell here. No one ever dropped by unannounced. Those who came were unexpected at set times, and as soon as she heard them, Betty would open the door. KK had his own key. She would put out the trash, leave the milk bag outside. So those bells that usually ring daily in other homes were silent here. Betty did the vacuuming, the sweeping, the mopping too. And sometimes the company that did the cleaning at KK's office did a full professional cleaning here. Webs, bugs, book, dust, pipe rust. So everything was neat and tidy, and there wasn't a cook because Betty looked after her health. Yes, but she didn't fuss over food. Food for one person, sometimes two, and every now and then a party. What's so hard about that? It actually makes giving a party more fun. Let's have a bit of excitement today. Italian, Chinese, Mexican, Gujarati, Bengali, Malabari. She had give parties with all different flavors. And KK was skilled in the kitchen. But now there was a bumper crop of bells. The cook's bell, the gardener, the sweeper mopper, the fruit and vegetable sellers, the fresh coconut water guy, and the relatives. No one had a set time, and no one was the sort to call first before coming. Is it Amma's cell phone ringing? Is it the door? Betty is deceived every time. She isn't used to the sound of her own doorbell, nor to the ringtone on Ma's cell. She jumps out of her skin. Family members near and far, and Bade and Bahu's friends and community, they all call. We have heard you are staying with your daughter a few days. That's nice. For her too. And how are you? Every day Bahu calls to ask, should we come get you back? The new house is pretty good shape now. Your new room is full of sunshine. Bade phones to say, when are you coming back? Shall we send over your bathing stool? Are you getting anything to eat? Shall we get some parathas sent over? Sid calls to say that he'll come see her when he gets back from Boston. I heard you snuck out to take a trip all by yourself. You should have waited for me. You should have told me. Very bad, grandmother. And the gardener calls to say, Mataji, the fish flake fertilizer is available. They have bougainvillea, all different colors. Even Mary Palmer. But they haven't got the Chinese orange yet. I look in the other bazaar. Oh, and I got the hose. The fruit seller calls to say the papaya is not the injected type, it's natural. The vegetable seller calls to say, Mataji, I have bought batua and dill. Mataji says, bring black carrots too. She tells the maid to grate them. Let's make some halwa. When the doorbell rings suddenly, Betty picks up the phone and starts saying hello, hello. Then the front door opens and she stares stupidly, wondering, who is this? She doesn't recognize them. even though she knows everyone perfectly well. It's just her first time seeing them here. How can she get used to this new state of affairs? One night the bell rang at 1 o'clock. Betty was flabbergasted. She rose with a start, pulled her shawl over her shoulders, and ran to open the door, falling all over herself. There it was dark. All the same, she thought she should call the guard and scold him. How had he sent someone without any warning? But the poor thing hadn't sent anyone, she realized as she woke fully. It hadn't been the door, but Ma's phone, and Ma had answered it. At this hour? Her anger shot up only to change to fear. At this hour? And she grew fearful as she heard talk of death. It was Bare who had called. Tinno Chachi, living in far off Edmonton, had passed away. Sid had gone to see her only yesterday, and she had been quite cheerful. Yes, she was over 80, might even have been 90, when we were with your papa in Ranchi, and we saw her then. That was more than 20 years ago. She must have been about 70. There was a debate on age, and Betty's fear increased with regard to the possible ages of death. For the rest of the night she kept peering anxiously at Ma. It wasn't as though she could sleep anyway. She must find a way not to be disturbed by bells. Chapter 16. Amma has gone to sleep as though everything is and has been peaceful. And so it is. Since when does peace share a link with noise? Or noise with peace? When it's quiet, everything's quiet. There's peace all around. So you are calm, even if the outside world is engaged in a wild rumpus. If there's noise around, then you too are noisome, even in stillness. Chapter 17. Ma begins to speak secretly, to herself as though to say, I have talked to others, now I'll speak with myself. As though she's two beings, one looking at the other, and one tells the other, now go bathe. And the first one replies, yes, it's getting late, let me go bathe. Oh, but be careful, says the first. Oof, that was a close one, laughs the second. Chapter 18. She who can see with the mind's eye can close her eyes and see. Ma in her baggy clothes, with a slightly stumbling gait, with her hopping, skipping cane, wandering about her daughter's home, almost hovering 2 inches above the ground, bobbing along within a delicate bubble of silence that contains droplets of rainbow-hued sunlight. Silence is not broken by noise. Chapter 19. Early in the morning, when Ma drinks her tea on the balcony, a blackbird whistles, a lilting tune. Chapter 20. Slowly, Ma pours herself into the crannies and crevices of the house. She feels as though she is flying. She likes it. My feet don't touch the ground here. She flies about silently. She listens to the comings and goings of her breathing. She hears the curling of a tendril. She hears the growing of the grass. She hears the undulation of the sunlight. She hears the descent of evening. She hears the unfurling of her own body. She hears the blossoming of the unfurling. Chapter 21. You pour yourself into the corners and hollows of your new home like air, observes Betty lovingly. Ma says, air pours out of me as I move. Touch it. See how bloated my belly is. Wind comes out when I walk. If you release it, it flies up, and you float about in a balloon of air. Ha ha ha! Both enjoy each other's coarse humor. Lengthy conversations ensue over the belly, like, I eat so much here, but sometimes it comes out small as a lotus seed, and even tiny as a sesame. I feel like I have to go all the time, but I huff and puff and only pass air. My bowels have become so loose it always feels like something's on its way. My insides are all baggy and everything's backed up in there. It doesn't want to come out. I'll bring you figs, but you eat them all up. Am I not getting older myself? You also sit long on the pot, so let's both wander about breaking wind. Oh my Amma. They laugh. Mother and daughter nest in intimacy. They egg each other on and address one another with the most informal forms of you. Chapter 22. See Ma digging in a flower pot. Hear the lilting whistles of a bird song. Betty has eaten some fried food and licks her fingers. All the butterflies watch. The sunlight grows aromatic. Laughter. What are you doing? More laughter. What are we doing? The balcony and the whistle. The bird and the whistle. Amma and the bird. The flower pots have arrived on the balcony. Ma's hands are always smeared with earth now. Green shoots pop up. Chapter 23. Every fruit has its season. In Savan and Bhado, the jamuns come plopping down from the trees, and in Grisham the mangoes burst forth. In Shishir, brilliant green parrots roost on the bright green guavas, and in a family during the season of Ronak, that is fun season, whistles begin to blow, and as they blow, they become more and more self-aware. And the attainment of such self-knowledge is not just for those who have reached nirvana, but rather available to the bells too, ecstatic. We exist! Oh my! Oh wow! They begin to whistle fast and faster, and near and nearer, so that every whistling thing catches the enchantment. The whistle of the pressure cooker, meaning it's done, hurry or it will burn. But see, Betty getting cooked herself, alongside the food, at the sounding of a whistle, while the rest of the bells and whistles now wish to test their impact. So they all start to buzz and ring and sing all the more. The phone, the doorbell, the leaves, the branches, the blackbird. It wasn't Betty's fault. She just wasn't used to it. Every time she felt disconcerted, and every time she would look from one device to another, wondering who is doing this. Then the carryings on of the buzzing and whistling things became vengeful. She picked up the teacup, and the cooker shrieked, and the hot tea splashed. As soon as she sat down to edit her articles, the intercom buzzed to announce that so and so was coming to see Maji. Those whom the guard had already recognized would be announced by the doorbell, screeching like a spoiled child, and Betty would again fall or knock something over. She could not yet tell whether it was Ma's phone ringing or a visitor's phone buzzing in a differently cacophonous manner. And anything and everything made her lose her balance or drop things. Ring, ring, ah! Phone, intercom, bird chirping, door. She would jump up and stare at the door as though it were about to jump at her. "I'll open it," called the maid as she came from the kitchen, wiping her hands. Betty looked up dumbly as though seeing this sight for the first time. She would probably never get used to the Reeboks. As it is, if we see someone in a different place from where we are accustomed to seeing them, perhaps it's no surprise if we don't recognize them. The Reeboks slipped in through the door, thump, thump. She seemed to recall getting confused by this time, thump, thump, earlier too, and wondering, am I an outsider or an insider? And what about her? But she blinked and blinked. But this is the door to my home, and not to that one. I am the one who is here inside, and she is coming from the outside. This is not that house. She turned to where Bahu had entered and was now touching the feet of her mother-in-law seated on the swing. This is my house. Oh my, said Ma. Bahu sat down on the swing giggling. So you have started the swing? In my home, Ma swings. Betty could be allowed a touch of preening, but quick to the draw requires quick-wittedness, not the sort of dim-wittedness that goes about stumbling and losing balance at bells and whistles. The moment had passed, and by then the mother-in-law had started giving the daughter-in-law the tour. Nothing is walled off here. Look, she swirls the cane about. Here's the whole hallway, and the study in one alcove, and in another the TV room, and in another the library, and in a nook the tea room. Open the drawer, and inside is the tea kettle, the tea things. Everything fits. Make the tea, shut it. You should set things up like this in your flat too. Ma was doing a PowerPoint presentation with her cane, showing off as though this was her own home she wanted Bahu to learn from. There's a neem tree at this window. People at this one. Yesterday morning there was a Shah Bulbul sitting here. This is the spare room. If it gets too late, you can just stay here. This is my bed. You can comfortably get to the bathroom at night. The wall itself gives support. Sleep very free. But this one doesn't sleep. She's always getting up to light my way with her thought. Her work is suffering for it. Why is it suffering? Asked Bahu, in that tone of false concern that families use. Who can ever say it's a barb? She has your company. Mother-daughter special time. The hawk eyes glance about for inspection. Poor people, pots and pans. What slovenly pictures. If they are not nonsensical, they are filled with nudes. These are the only two possible outcomes in art today. Prehistoric chairs, dishes of all different colors, no attempt at collecting a set, rubber banana leaf placemats instead of a tablecloth, a mat made of grasses and such instead of a rug or a carpet, strings of birds, horses, camels instead of curtains, boat-shaped cardboard bowls filled with walnuts and fruit, a fridge painted in unmatching colors, an open kitchen so the servant is always in front of you, sofa and seats made of bamboo and jute. Walls look like they were smeared with cow dung. Seems like she wants it to look like a village hut. Her ever so slight smile, ever so slight too, rests in the curve of her lips, like you can't catch me out and she can claim, "Oh no, of course not. I'm not laughing. This roomless home, this junk shop furniture, I would never accept such a home even for free." But Bahu said no such things out loud. She gave her overseas son a missed call, and as soon as he called back, she began singing the praises of his aunt's home. How it was completely unique, like the photos of homes printed in magazines and newspapers, like that article about the house in Udaipur that was built around the trunk and branches of a living tree. No, this one doesn't have a tree, but everything is turny twisty. Fine for you young folks, she said. I would just fall right off these crooked seats. Everything is so low. If you don't keep your eyes to the ground, you're bound to trip over something. Actually, the doctor forbids it. For the back, for the knees. It's not good to sit down so low and bend over for every single thing. Yes, what else? She must be agreeing with overseas son. Your Dadi is not in the habit of all these low down things. Don't you remember we put bricks under the legs of the takht on the veranda to make it taller for her? But she must like the change. He's saying he'll bring you a walker now. Keep it with you. Use it when you feel like it. The furniture is a bit too artistic though. You do walk carefully, don't you? Please don't fall. Arey no. If Betty could say it, she would. It's not the low swinging things here that trip you up. It's all the bells and whistles. Oh, it's great fun, said Ma, still showing off the house, turning it over and over like a toy, whilst Bahu flips it about, judging it sternly. Take out the amla chutney as well. Oh, but first drink some buttermilk. Will you have some wood apple sharbat? The gardener got some from somewhere. Wow, all this here? You have really set up house. Mooli parathas? Wonderful. You have got a good cook. And the house is sparkling. You have also hired a maid? Well then, that hoovering once a week doesn't fly in India. Bahu sang praises. Ma has turned your house into a home. Amma is looking so happy. Bahu praises further, looking very happy herself. So her sister-in-law has fallen to earth from her perch. All those airs about how her life was different and free. Now Beti's become one of us. She wobbled, she cracked, she slipped, she popped. Bahu did not envy this zesty lifestyle. Sisters-in-law do not desire the sort of life another leads, but they are pleased to see another deprived of the life they themselves wish to lead. Who knows if Bahu actually thought this, or if it just gets filed under the stereotype of sister-in-law relations. Family relations have their own beaten paths, which turn into ritual relationships, role performed accordingly. They are carried forward in the expected way without any thought, almost out of inertia. Has the relationship popped out of its worn groove? Who is going to trouble themselves over analyzing that? Beti's heart sank. ये वो शहर तो नहीं जिसकी आरज़ू लेकर चले थे यार की मिल जाएगी कहीं न कहीं. This is not the dawn we have hoped to discover, my friend. When we set out, sure we would find it somewhere. She thought, recalling the fair's poem. You're sorry. He bought it on Holi. I had the fall stitched on. Goodness, I will have to stuff half the thing in my waist. You take it. You wear it. Why, don't you like it? Why not? And some scent for you. Mitti Atar. I got it in Chandni Chowk. Here's a check. He said to sign here, on this paper as well. Do you need money? Keep some. We don't take from daughters. When will you come back? Why are you digging in your ears? Can you hear okay? Please don't leave home. Something invariably goes wrong. I have to go to an ENT specialist. We'll go together. What is Bare doing that he can't come here? Ma scolded. Betty is watching as a spectator, listening, like it's a stage. Is what's happening right now the play, or was that the thing that already happened? Just then another bell rang. Door, bird, cooker, ma, heart, phone, KK? I should say, come, now, let everyone view my lifestyle. You won't find your ostentatious morality here. He must have arrived from Vishakhapatnam. It was Ma's phone. Hello? Hello. Maji? No, it's me. Are, this is Rosie Bua. Namaste, Rosie Bua. Are you back? Hello? You were gone so long this time. Yes, yes, come whenever. Betty will give you directions. That one? The Hijra? Rosie Bua? Bahu asked. She comes here too? She's coming. Betty listens to Bahu listening. It's no problem. Rosie Bua, Ma is here. She is fine now. Yes, do cross both bridges. The road goes up from the bus depot after that. There are shops. Le Marche is to the left. Le Marche? It's French. Everyone will say La Mart or La Marche. After that, there is a round chalk. Come straight. Everything is simple if you stay within the grooves of tradition. By that reckoning, Betty's mood will improve now. There are no silly taboos at our place. And look how liberated Ma feels. She doesn't lie lifeless here. It appeared that Rosie had made short work of the Reeboks. Now who is the boss? Only Ma, but no one realizes.